I know it's a little early, but who doesn't love a rankings list on the 20 drivers we have on the grid? Yes, 3 races have passed so far, but we can get a better understanding of how well these drivers will do throughout the year. And I'm gonna rank them 20 to 1. Obviously, we're going off of performance and where I really expected them to be. Before I get started into it, thank you all so much for the support on the channel. You guys are amazing and we are killing it. I am beyond thankful for you guys. We just hit 2,000 not too long ago, and this channel is really thriving, all to the help of you guys. So thank you so much for supporting. Please continue to support. The likes mean everything. The subscribes mean everything. You guys just really being there and commenting means everything. So to anybody that's not subscribed, please do and please like. I try to upload almost every single day. So let's get into the spring break rankings of 2023. Now, number 20, I have Nick DeVries. Nick is somebody who I actually put as number 1 out of the 3 rookies to actually have the best season. I obviously didn't expect this AlphaTauri to do great, and I don't think he's having a necessarily bad season. I just don't think it's, I guess, the season start that we all thought he would have. We expected a lot more. He is a veteran. So when Nick DeVries didn't really come out swinging, a lot of expectations were kind of crashed. I do think he's going to improve, and I think a lot of it has to do with him driving a lot of different cars and a Formula 1 car being a lot different, obviously. So at number 20, I have Nick DeVries. Number 19, I have another rookie driver, and this one is Logan Sargent. Somebody who I have a lot of faith in, and I genuinely believe it's only the start, so he will get a lot better. And I think this is only a little glimpse of what we can really get out of Logan. I don't think you set up the car right. I think Alex drives a completely different style to him, and we will see a lot better Logan Sargent. That qualifying in Jeddah, if that lap counted, he would have made it to Q2 with a literally first run lap. That would have been very impressive, and he's come to show that he is very good in qualifying and can compete with Alex Albon. Australia wasn't great, and that crash into Nick really wasn't good, but he will improve. I do believe he will not end this year at P19. At number 18, I have Kevin Magnussen, a driver I expected a lot more from, but yet again, not having a terrible season, just kind of a very mess season, especially in comparison to his teammates. Nico has outperformed him in qualifying consistently, and Kevin has been lacking really the pace. Jeddah was a decent race, but I expect that Haas car to be faster than the AlphaTauri for the majority of races, and it took him a long time to pass, due to Yuki's great defending. But I expect a lot more out of Kevin, and honestly, it's tough to put him here, but I feel like right now, that's how he's performing. And I think that he will do a lot better throughout the season. It's a very close season so far when it comes to driver ratings, with the exception of really like the top 3. But everybody else has been pretty much on it or just doing decent. At number 17, I have a driver that I did not expect to be here, which is Valtteri Bottas. A driver that I actually really love, and I think that his racing and the way he knows how to extract performance out of that car, especially in qualifying, is extremely impressive. But both Jeddah and Australia were not impressive performances. Jeddah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He had damage on his floor, but Australia was not a great performance. And Joe completely outperformed them in Australia. Now, I don't know if he got the setup wrong or what was going on, but it wasn't a good performance, and for somebody that competed with a 7-time world champion, I expect a lot more out of Valtteri Bottas. So for that reason, he is P17 for me on my standings. Now at number 16, this might catch some people off guard, but it's honestly how I feel. I'm gonna put at number 16, Esteban Ocon. Somebody who I expected to actually come out better than Pierre, but Pierre getting the better of him in the second half. Now, I think they're pretty close. I don't think either of them have had the lightning start that we could have expected out of the two. But I feel like 16 is a fair result right now for Ocon. A very bad Bahrain, I'd say a very mediocre Jeddah, and I wouldn't call his performance in Australia that great. He barely made it through the field in a car that was easily competitive with the Ferrari. I mean, even Lando Norris was faster than him, and that thing is a complete tank in the straights. And Alpine actually has a decent car in the straights, so I don't feel like Ocon has had a good start to the season and needs to improve. Really, that's just the gist of it. At number 15, I have Pierre Gasly. So they're not far off each other. I think the Alpine drivers have a lot more performance to extract. I feel like they have not been able to show what the car has really been able to do. Pierre was really good action in Australia. So let me take it back. They can extract the performance out of the car. You can't end up crashing into your teammate at the very end of the race when you guys both could have had a great result. For that reason, I have Pierre at 15. I just think his Bahrain performance was better, so he is that slightest bit above Ocon. At number 14, I have Guan Yu Zhou, a driver that I think has outperformed his predecessor, his teammate, which is Valtteri Bottas. And he's done a very good job. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with Guan Yu Zhou. I hope his form continues, and that's all I really got to say. The car is really bad, so I don't expect him to be flying into the points every single race, but I mean, he's beating his teammate, who is amazing. So good job to Guan Yu, and I hope his season continues. At P13, I have Alex Albon, who I wish I could put higher, but because of his Australia crash and his Jeddah qualifying killed it for me also. He was really good in the race and in Bahrain, and that qualifying in Australia was outstanding, but this is a very close battle between really 13 all the way down this list. There's super great drivers all the way down, and I had to put Alex somewhere, so I expect a lot more out of him this season. He's definitely going to beat Logan Sargent, and I expect him to really lead that Williams team into some more points. Please do not end on 1 point. That hurt my heart. I love Alex, so I expect a lot more out of him. At number 12 and 11, I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to put Oscar Piastri at number 12, and at number 11, I have Lando Norris. So the McLaren drivers really could not get the most out of their car. This is to be expected. The car is a complete tank in the draggiest on the grid. But they also have not been outstanding when it comes to their performances. Oscar was okay in Australia. I would say he was better in Jeddah than Lando, but it was a pretty close call. Lando probably would have been ahead if it wasn't for the incident that ended up happening with Oscar and Pierre. So it's tough to say. I mean, like, the car has not been great, but neither have been performing that great either. I would say Lando has outperformed him just by the slightest margin. It's tough to judge with a car that's just really not that great. Now, at number 10 and 9, I'm going to put these two drivers together as well, and I'm going to put Carlos Sainz at 10 and Charles Leclerc at 9. My Ferrari team, I wish you guys were so much better, but the car is just not there. And Carlos needs to improve his really consistency. Bahrain and Jeddah were not great performances. Charles ended up out qualifying him by a good bit in Jeddah. He was way ahead of him in Bahrain, and Australia was a fluke. But Carlos was great in Australia and ruined his race at the very end. And for that reason, I have to put him at 10. It hurts me to say it because I love Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. I think that team, especially teammate pairing on the grid, is so fun to watch. And I really wish they had a better car to actually compete against each other and go for that championship. It hurts me to see how far behind they are, considering how great that car is. Or how great that car should be, or how great of drivers they really are. That's really what I meant to say. At P8. Number 8 for me is Nico Hülkenberg. What an outstanding start by this guy. A legend in my books, and somebody that I really see as a fantastic driver. Do I see him as a Hall of Famer? No. Do I see him as somebody that's a very solid driver? Absolutely. The guy is always there in the points, very consistent, knows exactly how to extract the best out of the car, typically, especially in qualifying. Now, while he hasn't gotten a podium, and that is a joke, Australia was amazing, and all his qualifying performances have been outstanding so far, and he has been quick, and I salute Nico for that. He has been destroying his teammate, and officially puts him 10 places above his own teammate. So, P8 for Nico Hülkenberg. And number 7, somebody that I did not expect to put even in the top 10, but very happy to say it, Yuki Tsunoda. What an outstanding start by this guy. P11, P10 in the slowest car on the grid. Literally looking like an Alex Albon of last year with the slowest car on the grid. He is outperforming the car. He is doing super great and almost had a P5 in Australia. I mean, no flaws from Yuki. Almost crashed in practice, but did not. He's been great. I hope his consistency keeps up. I would love to put Yuki in the top 5. That would be, to me, 2023 is complete if Yuki Tsunoda goes from being a driver that was probably regarded as P18 to P20 last year to now within the top 10 for probably everybody's list as of right now. At the start of the season, obviously. I know it's just a start, but Yuki has been outstanding, and for that, I gotta salute the guy. Now, it's the last 6, which are the top 3 teams. And at number 6, I have Sergio Perez. Now, I don't know to how many people this might shock. Maybe people will be mad that I have him here at number 6, but I expect Sergio to be closer to Verstappen. I have a lot of faith in Sergio. I think he's an amazing driver. I think that car just doesn't suit his style, but he was a decent amount behind Verstappen in Bahrain. Jeddah was a race that he should have won. Verstappen was starting P15, he was P1. And Australia, if I'm being honest, he was stuck behind Lando for a very long time and Nico, and probably would have finished 7th or 8th if it wasn't for the last red flag restart. And that really isn't a good position to finish in the fastest car on the grid. I get it, he was starting from the pit lane, but there was a red flag, everything reset, he was on 1 tire to the end of the race. He could have extracted millions more performance out of that car if he wanted to, but he didn't and he couldn't. So while he had amazing overtakes, I gotta put him at P6. I think every other driver in the top 5 has been practically perfect within these 5 races. And number 5, oh, now this makes me happy to put him in P5. Lance Stroll. Stroll has had an outstanding start. Coming from a broken wrist to performing like how he has, you have to be happy for somebody like Lance Stroll to really show off how good of a driver the guy really is. Easily a P5. If he finished in Jeddah, he probably would have been 4th, and that would have been a P3 and P4 yet again for the Aston Martin team. Performed great in Bahrain, and I would say that Australia was a good performance. Not a great one, but a good one. But great, good. I gotta give it to him. P5 for Lance Stroll. Now P4 and 3, they're the Mercedes drivers, but what order do you think I have them in? Okay, I gave you your chance to guess, but at P4, right now I have George Russell, and at P3 I have Lewis Hamilton. I think they are neck and neck, and I'll give you my reasonings why. P4, George Russell, for the sole fact that I think in Bahrain, Lewis was faster and a lot better than him. Now I think in Jeddah, it was very close. I can't really give it to George there. I think that it was super close, and with 2 different strategies, I can't really call it. I also think the Mercedes they called for them not to fight. So I don't know. I don't really see that as like a standout performance. I just think that Lewis has the upper edge because of Bahrain. When it comes to Australia, practically even, and both had 10s, in my opinion, on that weekend. So outstanding start for the 2 of them. Now P2 and 1, I think these are the obvious ones for really who is the best. And you know what? At P2, I have Max Verstappen. At P1, I have Fernando Alonso. And my reasoning I'm going to give behind it might be silly, but I think it's true. I have such high expectations for Max. I genuinely think he should have won Jeddah. As crazy as that sounds, I think Max Verstappen right now is the best driver on the grid. That's without a doubt. I think he's the best driver on the grid, and I think that it would be very hard for anybody to compete with him, even with a car as fast as his. But, I think he should have beat Sergio Perez considering the odds and just how fast he really is. And if he was able to beat Sergio, or even fight within like 1 second, I would have given him P1. But I don't think Fernando has put a foot wrong yet. He's practically been perfect this season. He's literally gotten 3 P3s in a row from a car that was nothing before. It's also a new car, that at it. He's still getting used to the car, and even he said 3 to 4 races and then I'll be 100%. So this is not even 100% yet. And he's still performing as outstanding as he is. P1 and 2 are both 10 seasons for me so far. Like, I'm not going to say that one is so much better than the other. They're extremely close, and I have to give somebody P2. So I'm going to put Max Verstappen there. But I honestly, I could see either of them flip-flopping. They are, I think, the 2 undeniable drivers so far of the season. And I expect Max to just be P1 throughout the whole entire year, really. Like, at least in my standings. I think he's outstanding, seriously. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this list? And man, I hope we don't have to wait that much longer for our actual 4th race of the season. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment. It would mean the world, and peace.